All right, very good. Thank you very much, everyone. Welcome to the May 26th, 2021 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. At approximately 6:35 p.m., we ended our agenda review session, and then at approximately 6:54 p.m., we adjourned our agenda review session. And at 7 o'clock, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll for the meeting, please?
Yes, I'm on my iPhone. It's Mr. Christo,
Present.
Mr. Gittarelli,
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Present.
Mr. Signor,
Present.
and Mr. Tomazone.
Present.
5 present.
Okay, would you all please stand, and Ms. Miller Herrera, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So this evening, a couple of announcements, and I'm not sure if it was corrected. I know that that there was a corrected, or to be a corrected agenda put onto the website. There was some commingling of some of the pages there that was repetitive, unfortunately. So that was being adjusted. And also the Memorial Day ceremony, which will be held this coming Monday, is always at 2:30 p.m. So for whatever reason, the draft there said 2 o'clock. It's 2:30 p.m. in the Veterans Memorial at Town Hall. So 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Memorial Day, May 31st, 2:30 p.m. Everyone is welcome. Hopefully we'll have a nice big turnout. Also, beginning June 1st, we're going to be reopening the hall. And what that means is that Monday to Friday, our usual hours, 8 to 4. However, walk-in hours, so coming into the building, walk-in hours will be between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. with the remaining hours, so that 8 to 9 slot and from 1 to 4 p.m. each day will be by appointment only. And I don't know how long that'll last, but we're going to start and reopen that way. And I can tell you that we're working on all of our other buildings to get them open and underway as well. So appreciate everyone's patience, but I'm excited that we're going to be reopening. And I know that the staff is particularly happy about that, and particularly since we have the hours where people can come back into to the town hall. So again, June 1st, which will be next Tuesday, town hall will be reopening. And again, our regular hours in the summer are between 8 and 4 p.m., but walk-in hours are 9 until 1. So appointments 8 to 9 a.m. and then from 1 to 4 p.m. each day. So I don't have anything else this evening to comment on. So we'll open up now for public comment, privilege of the floor for anyone who would like to speak on any the concern that they have, any resolution that's before us tonight. You have approximately 4 minutes to please keep your comments to at least about 4 minutes. And if you would also state your name and address for the record as you address the board. So anyone under public comment, privilege of the floor tonight? Is there anyone who'd like to speak under public comment, privilege of the floor this evening?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor.
Go ahead,
This is
sir.
Mr. Godlewski.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, I am very pleased to see that you have appointed Mr. Brown as the Chief of Police. On and off, on the board and office over the last 14 years, I've had several dealings with him, and the public doesn't know it, but he is the best qualified and the most professional person that I've worked with when I was on the board and even when I was off. And I'm very pleased to see that he got that appointment. The other point, at the last meeting, I sent the board an email of a discussion I had with DOT about Fort Hunter Road. I guess what I want to know is, based on that input, when you approved that resolution to accept that roundabout, did you send the letter asking them to not have any left-hand turns out of Fort Hunter Road or any left-hand turns out of Dunkin' Donuts in or out? That's the question.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it. That's the question.
Okay, I'll respond to that during the, at the end of the meeting, if that's okay. So we get others an opportunity here to speak this evening.
I understand. I understand. I'll wait. Thank you.
Thank you, very kindly. Okay, anyone else this evening on public comment privilege of the floor? Anyone else under public comment privilege of the floor this evening? Okay, so I guess we'll close public comment privilege of the floor and go right into our resolutions. Ms. Marco, would you please read the first resolution?
A resolution appointing a personnel and benefits administrator.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Guidarelli. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, on the question, I don't know if Ms. Corrier is on the line here this evening or on in the meeting with us. But I would just like to, if she unmutes herself, I don't know. Are you on the call this evening or on the meeting this evening? All right, well, I'd just like to welcome you to the town. I know this is a little prospective. We're going to vote here in a moment, but very happy that we were able to have her join us. And so let's move to the vote. Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo,
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Signor,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, very good. Congratulations, Ms. Corrier. All right, our next resolution.
A resolution appointing a police chief.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Seconded by everyone. Seconded by Mr. Signor and Ms. Herrera and Mr. Guidarelli. We could go on. So, anyone on the
Who got
question?
the
Mr. Oh, sorry, Mr. Christou, I made the motion. Mr. Signor got the second.
Thank you.
Anyone on the question? Any public nice comments you'd like to make before we vote?
I'd like to, if I could, Mr.
Go right ahead, sir.
With your permission. Yes, just for the public's benefit, myself and Ms. Miller Herrera, we conducted interviews of the proposed candidates that qualified for the position on May 11th, May 12th, and May 13th. And then after interviewing all of the candidates, myself and Ms. Miller, we conferred. We gave our recommendations to the board. And here we are now at the next available meeting. And I'm honored to be voting. I will be voting, obviously, in favor of Mike Brown, Chief Mike Brown. So here we are. And let's look forward to working with him as the next chief of police.
I think everybody wants to move to the vote and then we can swear them in quickly here. Let's do that. That's what it appears to me. All right. Anyone else? No. All right, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll? Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Goodman.
Mr. Supervisor, I would just like to say I'm honored as well to have be part of this appointment. You know, the few years working with Deputy Chief Brown, he is a true professional, and his experience and forward thinking will definitely allow him to succeed and do a great job as chief.
Will hardly agree. Okay, Ms. Marco, we have a motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Mr. Signor. Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo,
A very enthusiastic yes.
Mr. Guidarelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Signor,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay. Chief Brown, soon. Let me just we'll do a ceremonial swearing in here, if we could. And I'm going to stand up while I do it so that it's as if we're together, I'm going to say.
Okay.
All right.
I will stand as well.
And I want to personally, again, congratulate you. You know, we've had a great working relationship. You have been an asset, not just to the police department, but to the entire community which you serve. And real proud to be able to do this with you tonight. And I'm honored to swear you in this evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That noise. Oh.
If you would, Mike, please raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Michael S. Brown,
I, Michael S. Brown,
do solemnly affirm that I will
do solemnly affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Chief of Police
of the office of Chief of Police
of the town of Rotterdam
for the town of Rotterdam
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Awesome. Congratulations. You're duly sworn. Thank you.
Congratulations, Chief.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
My son Connor here is gonna put the badge on for me.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's great.
Beautiful.
Good on you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
So do you want to say a few words before we move on?
Sure.
Please.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank the rest of the board members for providing me the opportunity to serve the town of Rotterdam as the chief of police. I hope you understand that I understand the importance of this position, and that I will follow out the duties to the best of my abilities, and I take the responsibility seriously. I'd also like to thank my family. I have my mother here, and I'd like to thank her for instilling the values in me from an early age, and for putting me on the path to success also from an early age. I'd also like to thank my wife and my two children, Lori, Connor, and Ryan, for the several years of late night phone calls and getting called out to scenes in the middle of the night, missing baseball games, missing talent shows. So I'd like to thank them for putting up with that throughout the years. I'd also like to thank the men and women of the police department for their professionalism and their dedication to their work. It's truly them who are the face of the police department. They're out there on a day-to-day basis doing their jobs, and I appreciate them for that, and for giving us the good name that I think we have. I'd also like to thank some of the civilian personnel that we have working in our building. They kind of do some of the behind-the-scenes work that most people don't see, but it does work towards a smooth operation and efficient operation of the police department. So I'd like to thank them as well. And I'd like to just say that I look forward to working with the board, working with the members of the police department, and any challenges that may come forward. And just thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you for accepting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Okay, so now we can officially call him Chief and move forward. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Those were excellent words of support for everyone around you, but that's also the reason why you're where you are, right? As you said. So it's a two-way street on that. So good work. Okay, so let's moving forward, under consent agenda. We have several resolutions. May I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion that we accept the remaining resolutions as a consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
A second.
Second by Mr. Signor for the consent agenda. All right, let's vote to accept all the resolutions under consent. Ms. Marco, would you please?
Mr. Chris- Mr. Christo,
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Signor,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomason.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, now we'll have a vote, excuse me, a motion to vote on the consent agenda.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion that we vote on the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Anyone on the question on any of the resolutions? So we have a resolution here for one of the ones that I think interest the community the most is that looks like we'll be having live music over the summer in our town. So that'll be great. And we're just going out for bids for a few things and declaring a vehicle obsolete. And we're also participating in an RFP process with Broome County for prescriptions for those who are taking advantage of the Medicare, if you will, in our workforce. And so that's on there as well. And that's it. So we have a motion by Mr. Christou, second by Mr. Guidarelli. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christou,
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Signor,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasson.
Yes.
5 yes.
Very good. Thank you. All the resolutions pass. Okay, anyone have anything under committee reports or miscellaneous this evening I'd like to mention?
Mr. Supervisor, I wanted to comment on the article in today's paper. In regard to Niski unit creates a safe space for internet exchanges. I don't know how many people saw that, but it also mentions how the Rotterdam also offers that service, use of the police department's parking lot for those exchanges as well. And Deputy Chief Brown and myself spoke this morning briefly on it. We happen to run into each other, but would you mind speaking on that a little bit, just so we can make it known to the public that it is available right now for those who didn't see the article?
Sure. Yes, I received a call yesterday from a Gazette reporter, just wondering if that was something that we would offer to our residents. And while that may not have been on our website, our parking lot has been open for anything like that, where it's just a location where people can feel more safe. Our parking lot is well lit, even at night, and there's surveillance cameras on the building and on the parking lot 24 hours a day. So members of the public, if they want to, for instance, a Craigslist or an eBay situation where they're exchanging goods through social media and want to have a safe meeting place, they're always welcome to use our parking lot.
Thank you.
And we will be putting something up on our website shortly, just making sure that the message gets out.
Thank you. Mr. Supervisor, one other thing I wanted to bring up. So the Airbnb, the short-term rental thing, I discussed with a couple of board members, and I actually reached out to the county and was thinking that maybe this would be something we kind of look at from a county perspective, rather than seeing all the towns in the county and villages having different rules, regulations, as to, how everyone is going to individually handle the short-term rentals. So I just wanted to mention that, and waiting to hear back from the county, and hopefully, this may be a good avenue to at least explore, to see what we can do at a county level rather than town by town.
Okay, I'm a little unclear on that, but that's okay. I mean, I'll just say that I'm personally, and I'll say it like that. I'm not supportive of non-owner occupied properties being used as Airbnbs. There's a lot of information behind that, but in essence, I think that the only thing on the county level, and maybe I'm wrong on this, and I'll stand corrected, but maybe from the tax perspective, how those are taxed as a, because what we're talking about here basically is having hotels, in every neighborhood. That's where, that's why I think that if we focus for our community on owner occupancy and owner occupied Airbnbs and have a permitting process that doesn't go beyond 30 days of use annually, then I think that, that to me meets the tests. But at the same time, we'll wait for that. If you have reached out to them, let's see what they have that might be something we could consider. But, when for example, when we put out years ago, when we crafted the town, crafted wind turbine siting legislation, we worked together with Princetown and Duanesburg on that. But those communities have they have some different rules within, we're very similar, but we worked together as municipalities to do that. So we could do the same here in essence with this particular area. But if you've reached out to them, let's go there. I know that the board didn't support some of what we were to do, and that's understandable, I guess.
Mr. Supervisor, if I can expand on also what Mr. Guidarelli is saying, although the board, did not support the idea of a moratorium, I think we are all in agreement that some sort of regulation needs to be put in place, some sort of rules, some sort of a permit process, a policy, a procedure, an inspection process, and most importantly, a penalty process if there is not compliance to the standards of noise, number of cars, and other things that may negatively affect the neighborhood.
My concern is just about properties being used as non-owner occupied properties in particular being used and meeting basically the bare minimum threshold for code enforcement. And then we have again, hotels in every neighborhood. I don't think that's what I'm support. I don't support.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we get into details, specifics, but more of just, I think it'd be good if as a county with other, municipalities involved, we put our heads together and look at it, as a group and say, hey, what are we all going to be dealing with? Who's implementing what does the county already have in place as far as fees and taxes and things like that? So it's more of just to get the dialogue started and have more people.
I mean, I'd frankly rather be working on purchasing and benefits and other things that are big ticket items that really bring in revenue or expenses going out the door for the taxpayers. I'd rather work on those things on a global.
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't stop working on those things. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Hang on, I got to answer a question from Mr. Galuski. So just real quick. So I did not yet write a letter to DOT so that you know that, Mr. Galuski. I have to meet with an engineer, and I'm not going to name names right here, but I'm going to be meeting with an engineer on that particular project, if you will, because we did not move, because we're not moving yet on the sewer line and on the Carmen Road corridor. I wanted to have a discussion and I'm meeting with the engineer on Friday morning and talking to him about this. And as soon as I do that, I'll craft something and I will copy you and the board on what it is that I send to New York State DOT. But I completely agree with what you say. At the same time, like in other communities where you see these roundabouts that are very close to each other, the signage is there telling you which way you can go. And what you say is effectually correct as far as the travel. And so if you have to, you can't make a left, you got to make a right to go all the way around in order to get there. You might have to go around both roundabouts once in order to get back to the point that you really want to get to across the street, if you will. And that's what they'll do. They'll do that through the process with DOT. That's obviously a heavily trafficked corridor, particularly because we've got exit 25 right there. So, I completely agree with you, and I'll get back to you on that.
Steve, do you know if for the agenda, did somebody record it so that I could have it for my minutes, or is that not recorded? Usually I record it, now I couldn't.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, no, the agenda was not recorded.
Right, so there's nothing I can do about it. Okay.
No, it was not recorded.
Okay.
And I don't know that that's, I mean, I think the meeting is what you need for your minutes, right? But the actual actions that we take, I believe. But any
Like I
other?
said, I don't know anything taken, any motions or anything, and I have no idea with me not having it.
No, yeah, right. Well, there weren't, other than
Okay.
the adjournment, which I think you.
Okay. Yeah, I had that. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Sure. Just on the sprinkler, just the water sprinkling, it's that time of year, just very quickly. So what we ask is if you have automatic water sprinklers, we ask that you set them for between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. on whether your house number is odd or even numbered. Please do that. And the reason we changed that, and this is some time ago, is because of issues that we want to ensure for not just firematics, but to ensure that we can have our tanks at a certain level, if you will. And when everyone's running them first thing in the morning, when everyone's taking showers and getting ready for work or school, and then in the evening again, that causes basically the pump staff to work overtime. Certain hours. So without going into all those specifics, we're asking, and if you could, reprogram your automatic sprinkler systems for 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. in that range. If you want an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is that you want to use, again, odd or even. And then anyone else that's using a manual sprinkler, we ask that you just change your time from 7 to 9, if you will, was what was our traditional, to 6:30 to 8 a.m. and 6:30 to 8 p.m. So, and again, odd or even house number. It also just has to do with water usage and what we see for our wells and the pumps there. So it does, it leads to a lot of different things. It's not just it has nothing really in essence to do with cost saving or anything like that. Even though I'm sure that there's some relevance there, it absolutely has to do with protection of the community and paramedic to ensure that we have the adequate water supply in our water tanks. So that's all I have at this point. And anyone else have anything else they'd like to discuss this evening? Okay, I want to thank you all for your attention. I want to in particular thank Ms. Corrier for joining us, and in particular, again, thank you, Chief Brown, and I'm looking forward to, I think that the department is looking forward to your leadership. They've had it for a long time. They know who you are. It's not a comfort level. It's more about trust and how you operate and you take ownership of what has been done there. And I want to thank you again on behalf of the community for all that you've done and what you will do moving forward for us all in Rotterdam. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. And again,
Supervisor, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Wow, you got cut right off. You can't see it.
well, that's fine.
Well,
No, I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Supervisor, again, and the rest of the board. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Mike.
Motion by Mr. Christou, who has somewhere to be. He's somewhere special this evening. We're not going to go into details. And so congratulations, Evan. And motion by Mr. Christou. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Signor. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you all for your time and attention this evening. And
Good night, everybody.
thank you.
Good night.
Night, everyone.
Okay.